Hi, I'm Tammy White. I am the founder of the Bobby White Foundation. We're here with Hope in the Light of Suicide, along with...
I am your co-host, Bonnie Snyder. Welcome.
Welcome. And we have a guest.
We do have a guest in studio, and we will get to our guest in just a moment.
Yeah, we have a little bit of catching up to do because we didn't tape last week, so we didn't have a new show, but that kind of was all on me. It was a really hard week. I had mentioned the show before that it was the anniversary of my husband's death by suicide, and last week was like way harder than what I thought, and I think that it was almost like a perfect storm, but I think I got the flu at the same time.
Aha.
So at least that's what I'm hoping that part of it was, and it wasn't just all me. But so we have events coming up, and a lot of things beginning to happen, and that's why we have our guest here. But we want to get caught up on some of the events. By the time this one airs, we'll be in the middle of Surrey Fest at Sunwest Park. Okay. And so you'll see this Saturday night, so you can still come out Sunday from 12 to, I think it's 12 to 8 at Sunwest Park. It's a music, health, and wellness festival. There's food trucks they're having, yoga classes, just all sorts of things. One of the big local bands here, popular ones, I don't remember which day they're playing, the Bearded Brothers.
I love the Beards. I love this, one of my favorite guys.
Bearded Brothers, and oh gosh, I was talking about it this morning and now I forget. I'm going to get in so much trouble for not remembering the other one. Oh gosh, maybe it'll come to me sometime during the show. But anyways, if you have a chance to come out, it's going to be a really great event. And if you buy beer and wine, part of the proceeds is going back to the Bobby White Foundation.
Gotcha.
For the event. So, anyways, that's the one thing I wanted to get on. We were hoping to have somebody from that event on last week, but ended up they couldn't even make it to town, so it all worked out. But we, of course, want to thank our producer and the guys here, John and Rob and Dylan and Cage, for helping us and getting us all squared away here. It's always fun when we have more than two people. It's fun when we have two people.
Help keeping us straight.
So, we wouldn't be able to come and talk to you and bring other community organizations and our community events to you if it wasn't for them. That's for sure. So, ways you can sponsor us or help us, support us?
Lots of ways to sponsor. We still have our kindness page, in which you can donate, any amount. I mean, you can go onto the kindness page and select the pre-selected amounts, or, if you want to just, whatever you want to help, again, help us get this message out. We also have our fabulous T-shirts. That you can, we have a QR code if you want to order that way. You can come to the foundation and pick them up. We can mail them anywhere. We have the two styles, our original Hope style, and then the one that is more, looks more like the logo for the show. Right. So we have one that's, I call it our foundational looking one, and then we have our show looking one. There is that. We also want to continue, giving the shout out and the appreciation for the Tampa Hilton Gardens.
Garden Inn.
Garden Inn, thank you. I always forget the inn. Who, again, is one of our corporate sponsors that, we are really, really appreciative to what they have going on. If you ever get a chance to go visit the hotel, and view some of the artwork, the artists, as we've said on subsequent shows, are artists, that Tammy represents, and the artwork is for sale.
And all the artwork's for sale. Most of the pieces that are available there, all the proceeds go to the foundation.
Yes.
And that is also going to be the location of the 5th annual Art for Hope.
Can't wait for Art
which will be September 8th.
Yeah, I got the email that said, we had a date on
The
that.
committee meeting is Monday.
And I mean, the idea that we're, being able to get back out and be in person is great. But yeah, there's, again, those, many different ways that you can support us.
Amazon, eBay. You can even text to donate now.
That's right. I forgot about that one. Yeah.
And I had the number memorized like a couple of weeks ago, but I don't now. But I know the last four numbers is 6153 because 61 is the year I was born and 53 was the year Bobby was born.
Gotcha.
That's why I chose that number. But the rest of it I don't remember. 727 is the first part. I don't remember the middle part.
But again, we have all the multiple
of
ways that you can sponsor and whatnot. And you did mention Amazon, guys. I mean, I'm a Amazon shopper. I'm addicted to Amazon sometimes, but Amazon Smile. .com, pick the foundation or any charity, but we'd like it
your
if you
charity of choice. Of course, ours would be.
We'd like it if
would
you
be
picked
our
ours.
choice, our charity of choice. But whatever your charity of choice is,
exactly.
They appreciate it just as much as we do. Some of some of your donations help support our Purple Folder program, and in our Purple Folder, which was our initial program to give to suicide loss survivors. We added these little seed packets, forget-me-nots, and also for locally, behind my letter, we've added a page that has an easy list of our Facebook pages and also newer local support groups. NAMI Pinellas started a suicide grief specific support group, and then there's another grief support group at Calvary Chapel Church that's every Tuesday night. NAMI's you need to register for, and I think it's the third Wednesday or Thursday of the month. But we're getting new resources, and so that's why we added the other page. And I got a phone call last night from a friend of mine. She was kind of upset, and she come to find out a client of hers, long-time client, at Partners, one of the partners took his life. And they happened to be in Texas. So she was like, we have the purple flyer. Do we, is there anything in there that, we can use it on a national, more on a national level than local level? And I'm like, oh yeah, we do have part of a page that is just not Pasco County specific. So what I did is I went in and I found local resources for the area that he's in and stuck it in the folder, and she's overnighting the purple folder to Texas.
Nice.
So you just never know. I mean, she was totally shocked by this. Somebody that she has worked with for several years, and his business partner.
That's something. But as we're talking about, events and, ways to get involved and what, I think that is a nice segue
Yes.
to introduce the guest that we have on our show today.
Instead of just letting them sit there.
It's like we're thinking, it is not, we've been doing this for over a year.
Mm-hmm.
And, in the year that we've been doing this, I don't really talk about what I do when I'm not on set.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, it is, it's a thrill, it's a privilege, it's an honor to, welcome the guest we have today, introduce her, and, kind of get a little history. And, this will also give you just a small glimpse as to, as to what I do when I'm not, on set doing this. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you all Miss Eve Husley Moore. We have, some of us affectionately call her Evie, but Evie and I are on the same team at work. on my offset work, I should say. It's, it was, when Evie joined the team, I was like, oh, this woman needs to slow down just a little bit, because she's, very, I love her high energy, and I'm sure you guys will see this. I love the high energy. And I want to say, I think I don't know if we knew we were going to work together when we were started. But, along with, I could say this with all sincerity, having her as a coworker has transitioned to that I'm privileged also to call her a friend. I love her to death. So anyway, guys, this is Eve Hosley Moore, and we're going to have Evie spend a little bit of time talking to you about the coalition that we both work for, amongst the other hats that we wear, and some of the events that we have going on. So let's start with, Evie is, I'm going to say, one of our most active participants in what's called the Alliance for Substance Addiction Prevention, or ASAP for short. So Evie, if you could, for the viewers, if you could explain to them a little bit, like, what is ASAP? Like, what do we do? Why are we even here? And also, as you're doing that, if you could incorporate a little bit about yourself and why ASAP is so important to you.
Okay, thank you, Bonnie. Thank you both for having me today. This is really a privilege, and I am not great at public speaking. I'm just going to do my best. And ASAP, the Alliance for Substance Addiction Prevention here in Pasco County, is our coalition of all kinds of businesses, nonprofits, hospital systems, anyone who has any interest in preventing drug use and use, promoting healthy lifestyle. We're a convener for everyone to come together, the sheriff's office, officials and lawmakers, all together to work to change the climate here in Pasco County. So I've been with ASAP for about 3.5 years, and it is just, my heart, really. I love it so much. And my interest in prevention comes because I'm a person in long-term recovery myself. And when I got the opportunity to work to try to prevent substance misuse and youth and teens, I just jumped at the chance. And it's really meaningful work. And I think we do great work, and we do lots of just so many great things in the county to really kind of try to turn the ship around.
Evie, hearing you identify yourself as a person in long-term recovery, this is, one of the reasons, why, Tammy and I started this, show is, we identify ourselves as, people who are loss survivors, and, then we have the, being a mental health professional, and that whole, like, that bridge between the two.
Right.
In our work, we talk a lot about, like, stigma and the fear of coming forward. But at the same time, I heard you I'm a person in long-term recovery. I don't like the word why. We tend to stay away from that. But what and why is that so easy? Like, what makes it so easy for you to say, I'm a person in long-term recovery? And, if you can explain that in the connection to the stigma that might be attached to, I'm in long-term recovery, and people would look at you sideways like, oh, you're one of those.
Well, I totally get what you're saying. Yes, if it can help someone else, if I can share this little bit about my life and my own personal, I believe it really is a blessing, a triumph to be an addicted person, and to no longer live like that is really a wonderful thing in the world. And if I could share that, give someone else some hope that, people can and do recover, then it's all worth it. So definitely.
If you could, because, of course I know, ASAP has so many different moving parts,
right,
and so many different pieces to it. Can you as an ASAP ambassador, I guess, that's what we want to call ourselves. Can you explain a little bit to the audience these different, moving parts of ASAP?
Well, the overall general coalition is made up of anyone who would like to participate in, all facets, right, of prevention of all types. So that could be, advocacy for health, and we're talking about advocacy on the government level for changes to reverse stigma for mental illness, and of course substance misuse stigma. I mean, it's huge. And so let me think. We have the general coalition that meets monthly, and then spinning out from that are various subgroups or committees that focus on varying topics. So Bonnie here is the co-chair for Alcohol Initiatives Committee, and I work with her on that committee. I'm the co-chair for the Recovery Committee.
And I work with her on that committee.
So true, yes. We've got the Opioid Task Force Committee, partnered with the Sheriff's Office. We have Cultural Competence, which Bonnie co-chairs. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And what am I missing?
I tend to go, there's the Substance Exposed Newborn.
Oh, Substance Exposed Newborn, and that is a very active committee. Yep.
And, to break down each subcommittee, oh, Evie, how dare we? We're leaving out what I'm going to consider one of the, before we get into a little mini snippet of what each committee does, we're leaving out, I'm going to say, probably one of our most important ASAP components, which, when you joined the team, you hit the ground running on this one in the stand.
Oh,
it's funny that you said, because I was like, I'm sitting here, I'm going to think, okay, go on. There's something missing.
Stand, yes.
Our youth coalition, which is just fantastic. So it's Stand Above the Influence, and we have some incredible youth in the county that are learning advocacy skills. They're becoming leaders. They're meeting with, the head of the school resource officers just recently to kind of work on school safety. I mean, they are really amazing teens doing great things in the county. So,
and you were just able to, staying on the stand topic for a moment, you were able to recently, we've been meeting virtually forever, and then, Stan kind of went by the wayside I shouldn't say went by the wayside, kind of went stagnant for a bit because of Zoom, and kids were kind of zoomed out. If you can explain for a minute, what are you doing? There's something you're doing with the Stand Youth now on a monthly basis, I think it is.
Yep.
Can you talk about that?
Yes, for the last 3 months, we created, because we were always in the schools prior. So we would be inside a middle school or high school here in Pasco County. And during COVID, it was really difficult to come into all the schools and bring clubs, and they didn't want outsiders, all of that, which is a safety concern for keeping everyone healthy. So we totally understood. But kids really were, like Bonnie said, not really that interested in doing, Zoom. They're doing it, too much. So we just started a community meeting, and we're meeting at the rec center, the Newport Richey Rec Center, the first Thursday of every month at 5:30. And this is open to middle school and high school teens. Anyone is able to come. It doesn't have to be tied to a specific school. They could just come to the club. We serve food. We always have pizza or a sandwich or some kind of snacks, and then we work on issues. So the last meeting, we did a bunch of really incredible signs to put out during Paddle for Prevention. But this is a youth-led organization, so they pick what they really want to focus on and what issues are important to them. So when we started this club, they said that they were super interested in school safety. They felt unsafe. They wanted to work more with the SRO, and they kind of came up with all these great ideas. So we were able to pull in a representative to come and share with the youth, and then they open up a dialogue. In the past and overall, the youth issues are vaping, that's like always big. Youth mental health is tremendous, that they're interested in and want to advocate for more services, more understanding on school campuses, school safety. What are some other issues? Drinking, underage drinking.
Bullying was another one. Yeah,
big,
bullying was
big.
another one. Yes.
Definitely.
And for those of y'all who, when we are explaining, things that we do, we tend to throw these acronyms out. So for those of y'all that may not know, SRO stands for School Resource Officer, and that is an individual who is a Pasco County Sheriff, who's on the school, and their main, I would say their overarching duties is to make sure that the school, there's school safety, for school safety. So it puts law enforcement on campus. If I want to kind of rewind a minute, Evie, as we're talking about some of the things that the youth have done, and you mentioned Pedal. We're gonna get to Pedal and the other amazing events that we do. If you think back, where yes, the youth are the ones who decide what they want to do. The smaller group that you had, you and our other coworker Sandy, did something when COVID started that your kids did that we're like, and this is just to kind of give you guys an idea. Do you remember what I'm talking? What I'm talking about? Okay, I was like, am I putting her on the spot? Just to give you an idea of these kids when they get together and some of the ideas that they come up with. So can you speak to what I'm talking about?
I love this. It just warms my heart. So the youth are all on Zoom meetings together, and their cats and their dogs and are coming into frame, during the meeting, and they're so proud to show their pets. So they decided they'd like to raise money for the Pasco County Animal Shelter out at Land O'Lakes, and they want to raise supplies, and they just really devised this whole thing. It was fantastic. They called it the Pet Rally, the Stand Pet Rally. We actually had an article in the Suncoast News. We wrote a press release as a group. We contacted the youth, did all of this. They contacted Pet Supermarket, and they allowed us to put a bin in there. People were able to donate. It was really quite a remarkable event. It lasted 1 month, and we got to go and tour the Pasco County Animal Shelter, bringing $1,800 worth of collected food and toys and donations. It was amazing, and they were so appreciative and gave us a big tour of the facility, and it was really meaningful for the kids, for sure.
I could imagine.
Yeah, it was an incredible event.
Wow.
And what I, as I'm watching this event unfold, and the youth that bought this, it was, as adults, when we were, going, looking at COVID, we were making sure that, people had what they needed and whatnot. And it, like, Evie said, it was the youth who, what about the pets? Like, who's taking care of the pets? And we're, of course, we're like, so yeah, this, those of us, we're referred to as stand advisors. We're just the adults in the room, not that, I hate to see, I don't necessarily always say that, it's for adult supervision, but it is, to put the adult in the room and help, say guide the youth, or, give them, they're like, can we do this? Well, we can do whatever,
right.
Mind you, within reason. But yeah, that's, I want to say, is one of the most rewarding and heart-touching part of our job, because we get these youth from, sometimes as sixth graders. We have a couple of our older stand youth that are getting ready to graduate, go off to college, get married. The group that I had, all of my kids are, getting ready to graduate college. They're in the military and whatnot. So we have a long relationship with these students. As we're moving, kind of want to segue into when we're looking at, different events, because as, ASAP, we sponsor several different events, and guys, I gotta give Evie a shout out. She chairs I'm going to say most, if not all, of the committees when it comes to putting these events together. And it's like, okay, this is what we want to do, and she kind of, let's do this, ties it all together, and then we have this event that happens. So let us, Rob's got from our webpage a lot of our, some of our events that we have going up. We'll come back around and talk about Journey for Healing Hearts, Evie. But we have an event coming up next month.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this one. Definitely. It's Pedal for Prevention. It's on May 7th, which is a Saturday, and it's from 9 a.m. to noon. Oh, thank you so much. We are so excited. This is our second annual. So we started this the first time during the pandemic, and we wanted to create an event where we could be outdoors, we could be socially distant, and we needed to, of course, raise some money for our Pasco County Coalition here. We had a 10-year block grant that expired a couple years ago, and we really need to be sustainable well into the future so that we can support all of our prevention efforts right here in Pasco. Every dollar that we raise stays right here. So we really created a very small event just to kind of see what the climate was. Did people want to come for a bike ride? Did they want to, kind of get out and be in the outdoors together? So it was very successful, and we had, I think, 140 people signed up to bike ride, which we were really surprised. It really was
That's
a great
good
event.
For our first event.
It was very good, and so this year we're doing it again. But we've expanded it. It's a little bit bigger. We have a new pavilion. We were in a very small shelter last time, and then now we're in a pavilion, and we've partnered with the Swamp Mountain Biking Club, and this is really such a cool addition to the event. It's a fun ride, right? So like just down the bike path at Starkey Park. But this year, the Swamp Mountain Biking Club, who maintains all of the mountain biking trails in Starkey Park, and there are some really cool ones, they are going to give some free guided mountain biking tours. So that's what you get. Like when you sign up, you could sign up to be beginner, intermediate, and you get guides. You get someone in the front
cool.
of the mountain biking tour, and then someone in the back is getting all the stragglers. So no man is left behind. But it's just really a good way to be in the outdoors, to appreciate the beautiful scenery that we have here, and to raise some funds that are going to stay here in Pasco County to help, really work to prevent some of the, I brought some statistics because I wanted to just kind of show like how needy Pasco County really is in this area, like why we do what we do.
And I think that is a very nice segue to yes, please share
Okay.
What some of these statistics are, because, again, like you said, this is why we do what we do. And I'm not talking just, ASAP as a coalition. This is why, guys, we are on set every week, bringing this information to you. So please, Evie, tell us what you got.
So I just pulled some numbers from the 2020, and it's the Florida Youth Substance Abuse Survey, and this is done every year by the Florida Department of Children and Family, and this is available on the DCF website. Anyone could look this data up, but it is really done county by county. And they sample for this for the 2021, it was 757 Pasco County middle schoolers and 683 high school students. So we're getting a pretty large sample size, and they're given this survey. So of those surveyed, 17.7% used alcohol in the past 30 days. Remember, these are all
Even middle of
underage.
school.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
And we did share, that, here we are in April, and this is Alcohol Awareness
Right.
Month.
Correct. And it's very important and needed to raise awareness that this is still an issue. People think, underage drinking, but it really is. 13.5 vaped nicotine, 13.5% vaped nicotine, and 10.9% used marijuana. Those are significant numbers when you're talking about, a large sample size like that. Additionally, the study measures adverse childhood experiences, and these are the 10 components of adverse childhood experience really have to do with emotional, physical, sexual abuse. Maybe there's been divorce or incarceration in the home, and these are considered things that happen before age 18 that are really traumatic and can negatively affect the outcomes. And this is for adults and youth. It's occurring for youth in real time, so they're experiencing these things. Additionally, it can be mental illness, substance misuse, all of these categories. And this is for a family member inside the home. So Pasco really scores much higher than the state average in almost every single one of those quadrants. Pasco County youth with 4 or more ACEs are about twice as likely to report symptoms of depression as those who have fewer than 3. And additionally, reports of substance misuse are substantially higher in youth with 4 or more adverse childhood experiences. So this is real for us, and we deal with the, the trauma behaviors. We deal with the substance misuse, the need for self-soothing. We deal with all of that in behaviors. And
it's kind of ironic that we're talking about this. As the other day I was watching an episode of, it might sound weird, but Dr. Phil, and he was talking about children that are in a home that experience, like you said, a parent going to jail or violence within the home or, anything like that. It literally changes the child's brain.
That's right.
They have done studies of children that have gone through traumatic experiences in the home like that. And it doesn't have to be super major either. Against brains of children who had never had anything like that happen, and their brains are totally changed.
I remember as I was going through my degree program, and we learned about, it's their, adverse childhood experience. You'll hear the acronym is ACEs. And I remember going through like a very extensive training on ACEs because, as Evie said, the more, the higher your ACE number, the more likely it is for you to, have a mental illness or, resort to substances, or something like that. How the study came about, we can visit, do a follow-up on, and maybe get to Rob a copy of what the ACE questionnaire looks like. But those are, they are some pretty significant statistics. What else you got for us?
Okay, and this is my last one. This is a big one. The Pasco County Sheriff's Office reported a total of 1,491 overdoses in 2020, and this is resulting in 268 deaths. That is a 71% increase from 2019, and this is just impacting all the homes that of loved ones, right? And this is all of the grief that's going to come after that. This really impacts our community. And some of the stuff we do with ASAP, we have disposing of opioids safely kit that where Bonnie is, really involved with, and trying to get out in the community and really support families, be there, provide the Talk It Up, Lock It Up campaign to just try to educate parents to know that kids are getting this from home. And they need all of the scaffolding, all of the supports, all of the community providers. Everyone needs to come together and rally around our youth, to prevent this from further, generations. And, they really need that support.
And, I think for me, when I hear the statistics on overdose deaths and the fact that it's increased, I remember in 2019, when I lost Patrick, and hearing how the statistics from 2018 to 2019 increased. And it was, a significant increase. Now here we are going from 2019 to 2020 was that last stat, Evie, if I remember correctly?
Yes.
And we're hearing a 70% increase. And, I know some of it, would be like, oh, are we attributing this to, the pandemic, and to COVID? And, arguably people are like, yes, because we're looking at, similar stats, again, this being Alcohol Awareness Month, and how, here in our county, alcohol use has increased as well. And how specifically, as we're looking, and, one thing that we do as ASAP, we focus on the different mental health awareness topics for each month. And so as we look at, April, this is Alcohol Awareness Month. Well, as we transition into May, we have our Drug Facts Week, in addition to May being Minority Mental Health Awareness. And, when you look at how do these different things impact different populations, women, blacks, and households with children, according to those same the same stats that, Evie just provided us with, the alcohol use in those homes has increased.
Yes.
And, as we're doing, these, particular events, again, it is to raise awareness. Now, along with Pedal, Evie, is it September we have another event, happening? We're kind of doing this dual. We're coming off the heels of Pedal. We're pedaling out of Pedal into
our Stronger Together Recovery Walk. And this is held in Sims Park. And this is a phenomenal event, very well attended, really had a lot of great speakers. We had recovery speakers, we had lawmakers. It was just such an incredible event. And it's going to be again in Sims Park. I believe the date is September 24th, so mark your calendars. And September is National Recovery Month. And we want to show everyone that people can and do recover, that there is a life after addiction, and it's a full life, a wonderful life. And, incidentally, addicts and people in very early recovery are very prone to suicide. And this is something that is just, we really need to draw attention to it, that there is a life after and that there is hope. And it's really important.
September is also National Suicide Awareness Month.
Wow.
So it's actually Suicide Prevention Month.
And it's interesting that it coincides with,
exactly. And we were at the event at Sims Park last year, the first one that you guys had, and I couldn't believe how you guys pulled that off so wonderfully. It was good.
It really was, and it's such a passion for people who are in recovery, and they want to really show that it works and help pull the next one along, and really inspire. I think that's where all that comes from. It's such a meaningful thing.
For me, this is kind of a mini plug for the community, how the community and the community partners and businesses come together to help, support what, we're doing, but for both events, we had, as the coalition had printed t-shirts as well. And I just found it, when we talk about our t-shirts here on the show, how that one little piece of clothing means so much to some people. Like our first one, we're like, oh, what's the census going to be in terms of people, coming out? And I just remember, we were not, I don't even think we were like through the first, let's just say if the event was an hour, we weren't through the first half an hour, and people were like, you're out of t-shirts?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Ran out.
But, and people were like, oh my God, you were thinking, oh, I don't want another piece of clothing. I don't want another piece of clothing. But, one of our, community businesses here, Gulfside T-shirt, who prints
Who happens to do
prints
our
T-shirts, prints the T-shirts for the coalition and, for this event. And I just want to give a shout out to Michelle and Cassie and, their team, for what they do.
Oh, everybody at Gulfside T-shirts, they, I think as long as Tim is, I mean, they've been in the community for over 30 years.
Who told Tim he could retire?
I know he doesn't go in very often anymore, but I mean,
Michelle's running it. Yeah, Michelle's got it.
Still such, they've always been such a huge community supporter.
Yes, yes. And it's fascinating that, they are, like when, we went in, I want to say when we were doing...
Stand T-shirts, is that what it was?
Even prior to the Stand T-shirts, when we were doing our first recovery walk, and we walked, before, and, we're like, hey, let's see, who was going to give us the best bang for the buck. And, they gave us the best bang for the buck. So it's, I think, all of, pretty much all of ASAP now is with that. And I remember looking at Michelle, I'll tell you, Dad, nobody told him he can retire, but, it is them. They do an awesome job, and for, a plug for, the upcoming pedal event, we are printing, I should not do
She put the order in.
Okay.
the T-shirt person. But we're ordering 100 T-shirts, and so just as another plug, like hey, if you want one of our awesome T-shirts, you got to be one of the first 100.
That's right.
Just saying.
That's right.
So Evie, what else? I mean, I know we talked about pedal, we talked about the recovery walk, we talked about Stand. I want to take a few minutes, if you're okay with that, to highlight, a few of the committees. And I know if you could, because you chair the recovery committee, so tell us a little bit about, the recovery committee and what it does, and then, I can ping pong and talk about, the other committees. But yeah, I think it's if we could take just a few minutes, to kind of go back and do like a overview of this is ASAP, this is what we do, and if you want to get involved, do this.
Oh yes, we need all the help we can get. We are volunteer operated, so we really need everyone from the community to come together and support all of our committees. So the recovery committee, you do not have to be a member of recovery in the recovery community, and when we refer to recovery, we're saying recovery from addiction or alcoholism of some form. Anyone is invited. So that when we say the word recovery, that's what we're talking about. So the recovery committee has those who are in recovery, has allies, has, let me think of some of our representatives. We've got people who work in rehabs, and then also in hospitals, and anyone who is involved with recovery-related issues. We work to reverse stigma. We work to align ourselves and speak for recovery-related issues that may not be in the forefront of our leadership's mind. That we also vote and we have ideas and we have things that are important to us in recovery, and so we work to kind of combine all those things. Some initiatives that we've done year over year is to really thank first responders. So we have these banners printed. We get people in recovery to say thank you for saving our lives. We bring them to the fire department, emergency services. We've done that many years. We thank nurses because really they're on the front lines of treating people who are in the midst of an overdose. They reverse overdose, all that kind of stuff. We're really thankful because we can, we get to live. Thank you for keeping us alive. This year we decided as a committee to thank law enforcement. So we're working on some ideas on how to let them know, because they are very often administering Narcan, which is naloxone, the life-saving opioid overdose reversing. It's like a nasal spray. And so they're carrying them on them. They are finding people who have overdosed, and they are doing that first aid, first responder, and they are reversing those overdoses. It's such an important thing that they're doing in the community, and we appreciate them. And so that's something that the committee voted to do this year. The committee also came up with the Stronger Together Recovery Walk, and to raise awareness. I mean, it's a great committee. So we meet the fourth Monday.
Before the ASAP coalition,
Yep.
the Monday before the coalition meeting. Sometimes it's off by a day, but typically it's the fourth Monday, yes.
Yeah, right, it's the fourth. Okay, so we meet the fourth Monday of the month, and we meet at 5 o'clock. So we have been meeting in person. I think we're going to take a poll. Maybe we'll go back on Zoom for one more month to increase. It's like really hard to get to every meeting. So we want to make sure everyone can get to, attend our meetings. But okay, so that's it about Recovery Committee.
We can go on
I
and
know.
on about, recovery, because not that one ASAP committee is more important than the other, but when we look at, in terms of what are the specific committees that affect, what we talk about primarily here on the show, and that's suicide awareness and lost survivors. And it's like, if you look at our substance exposed newborns, okay, well that particular committee is focused on women of childbearing years, and how to reduce these babies that are born exposed or under the influence, and how does, if you're a woman of childbearing years, and you're suffering, you're dealing with addiction, and then you have a child that's born, and let's just say that child doesn't make it, or the child is taken away from you because of your use. What does that do to your mental health? And subsequently, could that lead you down that depression path? And it's like, okay, I don't have my child, I don't want to live. So we have that. So being able to put the information out. Evie, you talked about our, what's weird is I don't know that I really truly understand what the acronym DOS kit is, but I know it's DTERA something.
I think it means deactivating opioids safely for the community.
Is that what DOS is?
That's what
Okay,
that means, yeah.
If that's not it, that's what we're going to call it. What it is there's this bag. It's called a DTERA bag that you can safely put your medication in and throw it in the trash versus putting it in the garbage or flushing it down the toilet, and then you've got these opioids and drugs in our water systems and whatnot.
Plus, it keeps it out of the hands of teenagers. That is where they are getting the drugs from. They're going to grandma's, pharmacy in the cabinet, or the neighbors, or moms and dads. They're getting the, opioids from home.
Which is, what we hear a lot from our youth. Where are we accessing the substances that we want to get our hands on? From our homes or from the homes of friends and other family members.
Right.
We, partner, when we're looking at our DOS kits and the DTERA bags, we partner every year with DEA to do, when they're doing the take back. And our next DEA take back is April 30th. It's a Saturday. And there's 2 locations. The Pasco County Operations Center on Little Road, those of you that are familiar with Pasco, will have, it's a drive-through, no questions asked. You drive through, you hand them your drugs, and you go about your way. We hand you some literature, which includes a card that gives you where you can drop your medications off at. Drive through, hand it, go. Some people will stop and chit chat for a moment, because they can, because they want to, and that's fine. The other location is the Shops at Wiregrass, the parking garage that's adjacent to the Dillards. I usually find myself at the one in
You're
Wiregrass.
usually, yeah, you're
Yeah,
usually. Now, don't you guys do that at least a couple times a year?
Yeah.
DEA does it twice a year.
Yeah.
It's DEA partnered with Pasco County Sheriff, and they usually do it in April and then again in October.
Okay.
At those two locations. There used to be 3 locations, but logistics and I want to say it was time, personnel, and logistics. It's down to 2, and those 2 locations seem to to work out really, really well. We have, we used to have a location here at the mall where our set is out in the parking lot.
Oh, really?
They used to set it out there, and I want to say that was probably a logistical nightmare.
I would imagine.
Well, yeah, you've got people going through, dropping off their unwanted medication. At the same time, you've got people coming in to shop, which moving it to the operations center on Little Road. I went there to drop some materials off to them, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a really good setup. And then, we also, just in the interest of time, we have our opioid committee, which that committee, spearheads the whole, DOS kit program. Our alcohol initiatives committee, near and dear to me, I'm its chair for that one. We are partnered with MAD and Tobacco Free, for that one, and we're currently collecting in a very intense, for lack of a better word, data collection, collecting information or attitudes, having conversations with people. Who did I leave out? Our cultural competence.
Cultural competence. That's
How
a
could I
good
forget
one.
cultural competence? That's our newest, one of our newest committees. And it's just basically to make sure that as we're bringing the information out, to the community, that we are doing it in a way that is culturally competent, that is making sure that we're aware of, how different cultures may react not only to mental health, but to recovery, treatment, the language that's used, so on. Which again, change that language, change the get rid of the stigma. So, Evie, if we were to give you, the last, couple minutes as we're, rounding out this particular segment, if you had a message for the audience, in, everything that we do as ASAP, again, which is not our only job, guys. ASAP is just one part of what we do when we're our other work. But what, parting words would you want to tell, the folks who tune in to see us?
Well, right now it's just completely top of mind for me is our Pedal for Prevention, which is May 7th, to really encourage people to come, to show up. I want to just kind of plug our sponsors for the event. We have H2 Core, Molina Healthcare, our big sponsors. And then we have Bayside Roofing, James Morris Trees, Chrysalis Health. We have so many great sponsors for this. The Phoenix House is going to be doing some exercise to get everybody ready for the bike run. We have Phoenix House, I said them already. We have the Swamp Mountain Biking Club who are doing those great tours, and we would just love for you to come out and participate, meet us, find out how to volunteer, because we want you, we need you, we love you, all of that. And this really impacts the whole entire health of Pasco County and beyond, and it's just such an important, it's very important and near and dear to me, but it really does kind of spin the wheel of positivity for everyone in the county, and it's just really, really important. There's no facet of life that is untouched by this, I truly believe.
And like Evie said, you don't have to be a treatment provider. You don't have to be, a professional, per se. Community member. Again, we have
somebody
youth
in our community.
Yes.
You're a part of the community. We've been talking a lot of, all the, these issues like this. overdoses and suicides and addictions and all that, not one of our organizations is going to solve our
No.
problems, you know, and it's going to take all of us working together, and that includes everybody else in the community, whether or not you are immediately a part of whatever organization we represent. You can be a part of it in multitudes of ways by volunteering.
Definitely.
And really, it's gonna the only way that there's going to be a turnaround is if we all work together.
So true. And, you know, as, you know, again, as we round out the segment, you know, again, Evie, I want to thank you so, so much for joining us on
Yes, it
set
was so fun over
and
here.
talking about, you know, ASAP. Our website is...
Alliance for Healthy Communities.org, right?
Yes.
And that goes with our umbrella organization, Alliance for Healthy Communities. Oh, I'm sorry, it's empoweredcommunities.org. Okay, I was wrong, empoweredcommunities.org. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So please go register for Pedal for Prevention. And don't forget, these are our Lifeline numbers. Make sure you have them in your phones. You never know when you're going to need them. And our positive quote for today is, as long as I can, I will look at this world for the both of us. As long as I can, I will laugh with the birds. I will sing with the flowers. I will pray to the stars for both of us.
And remember,
There's always hope.